So whenever you open up Natron, it will look like this. The interface is somewhat similar like of Nuke. You have a working window here where you may call it as viewer window. Then you have a toolbars here. If I just click this, you can see that there are a lot of tools here which I will use through my project. Then I have the timeline here where you can see the number of frames. I have the start frame, I have the FPS, I have the playback controls. I can scrub to the timeline also. I have the end frame here, and this is the node graph where I'll be making the nodes. I can bring any node and just connect it by just holding the lines. We have a curve editor here which will show the curves, how the curves will flowing through the animation. We have a dope sheet where I can move the keyframes. So this is a tab where I can change it. I can change this view and I can bring other properties here. Now this is the properties panel. Yeah, whenever I'll click the properties settings, I can see here my project settings are set to 1920 by 1080 by default. I can change it to whatever I want. I have a frame range and a lock range. I have a frame rate also, and my GPU rendering is enabled. Now, you can see here there's a number 1 written here. If I bring on a color correction node and a blur node and a transform node, you can see here as my number is 1, only one property will be displayed at a time. If I click the blur node, the property will go and the blur property will come. So at a time I can just see only one. Now I change this number to 2 and I can see that 2 properties are getting viewed here. If I change it to 3, then you can see here property number 1, property number 2, and I get a property number 3. So I can adjust this at once. It is a good practice to have 2 or less than 2 if you are working on a smaller screen. I can select it, delete it. These are the controls, these are the proxy settings where I can use it for heavy footages. We have a menu system here where we can open project, save project, we can import layouts, enter into full screen, clear the cache, and in help we have information about Natron, and here is our version 2.3.1.